All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes here. I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can. And I'm going to talk to you about accountability. Now, I'm going to put a couple video links in the description box below. They are to the videos that I'm referring to here today as I talk to you about accountability. So many people are getting upset with a certain video I just made. Look, and I'm going to try to make it clear by the end of this. No, I'm not going to start going after First Amendment auditors or Copwatchers or the First Amendment audit community. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. It just happened that was a huge story. It broke. They're talking about these First Amendment auditors in the city. I mean, the whole city. They made the news, the local news. So I had to do a video on it. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's flipped, man. He's a bootlicker now. He's gone to the other side. He's CCW. He's, oh my God, he's going against the YouTube community, the First Amendment audit community. No, look, my stance has never changed. I started out, not on YouTube, but I started out in this community as an accountability activist. Somebody that, look, I am passionate about holding people accountable. And it's just grown over the years. When George Floyd video came out and then the Elijah McClain video, I saw that one after. I don't know, it did something to me emotionally. It just changed me. I don't know, I don't want to say it traumatized me, but it literally, a fire exploded inside of me passionately that I said, I have to do this. I have to get out there and record law enforcement and public officials. Then I did a video in June of 2020. It was right after the George Floyd, of course. But here in town, I did a video of a big brawl that broke out. And the police were in that video. And I had an epiphany that I'm not simply out to hold law enforcement and government officials accountable. I hold anybody accountable that I feel is wrong. I'm having a hard time here because I'm winging it. This isn't rehearsed. This isn't scripted. And I have questioned within myself. I've said to myself, look, I'm not God. So why am I doing this? I feel one of the reasons I'm doing it is I lose sleep over it sometimes. The crux of this channel and the crux of what we do is hold law enforcement officers and government officials and government agencies accountable. That's what we do. But then I start seeing people within our social media community that do the same thing. I guess people that share commonalities with what we all do start doing things that to me look questionable. They look questionable. And I say, why are they doing that? And we don't like when law enforcement officers get in our face. We don't like when law enforcement officers are rude, unprofessional, or exhibit a, for lack of a better word, exercise of bullying. We don't like that when they're bullies with badges. But yet, we'll go to private businesses or churches and we'll pretty much do the same thing. And you say, well, we have a First Amendment right to do that. Okay, sure, we have a right to free speech. We have a right to assemble. We have a right to free press. But does that mean we have to display the same types of attitudes that these law enforcement officers out here display that we don't like? Well, they did it first. So why don't we start trying to change it? And when they do it, go, you know what, dude? I get that you're upset. Why are you upset? But also part of the problem is when they say, What are you guys trying to accomplish? Why are you filming?
Shalamihala, Ali Akbar. Huh. Looby looby, dooby dooby, shanduli, shanduli.
You know, it's like, what is that? That's not educating on the First Amendment or the Fourth Amendment. That's not educating on the Bill of Rights or the U.S. Constitution. That's doing something to get views on YouTube. That's basically what it is charlatan entertainment. I guess. I don't know. I'm throwing words out there. There's a word I was looking for, and I can't think of it. But it's basically just a display of entertainment, if you will, to get views. Well, no, because we're trying to see if they respect our right to film and yada yada. And okay, that's dandy and fandy. But why not educate them on what you're doing so they know and they say, yeah, that we do have freedoms in the United States of America. Yes, and that's what I'm doing, exercising my freedoms. No, what you're really doing is some type of test, litmus test to see if they'll let you act a fool in public. That's fine. You have the right. Everybody has a right to act a fool. News Now Omaha almost got shot on more than one occasion for acting a fool. In fact, he walked up on a cop who had him drawn down at gunpoint. Talk about suicide. But the thing is people get upset with me for pointing it out because it's First Amendment auditors. Well, when cops do it, we get upset at them. When I point out what First Amendment auditors are doing, you get upset with me. Instead of saying, you know what, you're right, they should change the way they do things. Well, who are you to tell them to change? Because they're affecting us as well. You know, a cop acts bad, another cop comes up trying to be polite, and you go, get out of here, piggy. Why? Because the bad cop is an a-hole. These guys went to Santa Clarita Valley. Now they made the news saying how bad these guys are, remember Morro Bay? And what they did to Nasty Nathaniel? I was so happy that police chief had to go, and he went. But when they went up there, they didn't really go up there and accomplish anything good. They went up there and they invaded the businesses, and they put their foot in the door of the library. Remember the guy who put his foot in the door of the library to keep the door from closing? Or it was a museum, I think. It was either a library or a museum. And then they went up and they did this, and all of a sudden now they made the newspaper on how these camera people invaded Morro Bay. What did we accomplish? That people with cameras are assholes. That's not helping us. So these guys go to Santa Clarita Valley, same thing. They make the news. People go, oh, there's fake news. They're lying. They're this. It doesn't matter. There's a thing in A Few Good Men when Demi Moore is going, I object. And he goes, overruled. I object, Your Honor, overruled. I strenuously object. And, and then Tom Cruise gets... Kevin Pollak gets all upset, and he's like, what the hell, I strenuously object. Wow, I never heard that one. And then remember Tom Cruise goes, look, she made a mistake. I think I'm getting my scenes mixed up. But the thing I wanted to point out there is when Lieutenant Caffey says, look, you object once, you get the jury to hear it, they question it. I know that was bad. I just went all over. But again, I'm winging it. This is not planned. But Lieutenant Caffey, Tom Cruise, he says, you say, I object one time so they can hear it. And then they question the witness. But she got the judge to say, he's an expert witness. Now the jury hears that he's an expert witness. And remember what Kevin Bacon's, the prosecutor comes back and goes, in your expert opinion. And my point is, I said all of that to say this. that it doesn't matter what that news paper or what that news radio station said about Pedro Libre audits and SGV First News. The fact is, they said it. They said it. Instead of being able to say, hey, look, these guys came up here. They were asking questions about the church. They asked, what are you guys preaching here? Hey, we're here for our constitutional rights. You have a constitutional right to worship. Instead of having a dialogue, and the news could say these guys came up here and had a dialogue with our churches, instead they say they're hurling insults and F you, Karen. And somebody said they didn't do that. They did do that. I watched the live streams. He was yelling, F you, and flipping off some person in the church. This pastor came out to talk to them. I think this was another one. But they were doing a church, and the pastor came out to talk to them, and they said, were they calling him gay or twinkle toes or something? But they were insulting him, basically. And I said, why not have a dialogue with the person? Why not sit and go, here's what we're doing. Here, let me explain what we're doing. It's our constitutional right to be out here in public to record. Not, get out of my face, Karen. Huh? Yeah, take a walk. Shanduli, F you, Karen. What's that all about? How does that help our cause? How is that productive to educating people about our constitutional rights and the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, 14th Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment? How do we educate them when we're acting Arabic and flipping people off and, well, they started it. Okay, great, they started it. We can still educate them. They started it because they don't know what the hell you're doing. And when they ask, what are you doing? You go, it's my right. Why not say what we're doing is we're showing that we have a constitutional right to record from this sidewalk. People are going to be upset with me by this. I don't care. This is what's inside here, and it has to come out or I'm going to explode. My head is about to explode. I have to get this out, and all of you are the ones I'm telling it to. People are so upset with me right now because you think I'm attacking the auditing community. No, I'm not. I have nothing against Pedro Libre. I have nothing against SGV News First. I have nothing against them. I just think that what they're doing is counterproductive to what we're trying to do out here on social media. And being someone who holds people accountable, the burden I carry is, I say, look, these guys, what they're doing is counterproductive. I'm going to try to turn this into a teaching moment and teach some people. Maybe if one person, only one person hears me and goes, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. Next time I do an audit and somebody comes up to me, I'm going to educate them on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If I get one person to do that, then I've reached somebody. So that's why I'm doing this. It's not to attack them. It's just to hold them accountable for what I believe are counterproductive actions. Just as I would hold the police accountable, I'm holding these guys accountable. Same thing. People are trying to explain, well, it's our First Amendment right to do that. And you're cop-splaining. We don't like when cops do cop-splaining and justify bad actions, but we'll do it for a First Amendment auditor like that. How come we can do it and the cops can't? Well, because cops this and cops that and cops that. Yeah. But I refuse to live in hypocrisy for a disdain of law enforcement. I'm going to keep my integrity intact and say, look, if you do what they do, then you are no better than them. Well, they deserve it. Well, not all of them deserve it. When somebody gets in a car accident and they get a crushed chest and the cop gets there and holds them up and does CPR mouth to mouth and keeps them breathing until they can get to a hospital and live, do we say, well, that cop will kill the next one? Or do we pat him on the back and go, you saved a life today? 2 cops help a choking kid. He can't breathe. They pull a seed out of his mouth. And you know what people were saying? Someday they're going to kill that kid. They saved his life. Give him some kudos. Give him some accolades. But we want to run the cops down, and as soon as one of our First Amendment auditors or cop watchers does something that we know is wrong, we go, well, he has a First Amendment right to do that. Why? Because the Constitution says he can do that and it's wrong? Sometimes cops do things that they have a right to do, but we still say, you know what, don't be a dick. But when one of a First Amendment auditor or cop watcher does the same thing, we go, well, he has a First Amendment right to do that. He has the First Amendment right to be a dick, but when a cop is a dick, he's a dick. Or should I say Richard? So that's all I'm doing is holding people accountable. Why? Because I don't know why. I wish I could tell you why. It's just in me, it's passion, and it's something that's non-tangible, and it's just coming out, and I just have to do this because it helps me something. I don't know. Sometimes I lose sleep over this. But I wanted to come on there and explain to you all what I'm doing. I'm just holding people accountable. Oh, I was going to get to real quick, in closing. So people are talking about, well, they didn't break the law. Hey, look, if Penal Code 302 says you can't stand in front of a place of worship and create rude behavior and, see, the word escapes me. You can't disturb the peace. That's it. Disturb them, and as they're trying to go into a place of worship. If that in the state of California is a misdemeanor under PC 302, then if you do that, you broke the law. But again, we're going to cop-splain. Well, they have a First Amendment right to do that, and the people of the church, they do this wrong. So it's okay to go break the law. It's okay to go violate Penal Code 302. Or you're twisting it. I'm not twisting anything. I read it to you. It said you can't stand in a place of worship in or near the area and cause disturbance of people going into the church and rude behavior, profane behavior. They're going into the church. You're running up to their car and filming. They're just trying to go to their place of worship. I'm just giving you what PC 302 says. I'm not twisting anything. They're doing it. That's rude to run up and lean over the car. Isn't that rude? To you, it may not be rude. To this person, it may be rude. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I had remarked to one person, I said PC 302 is kind of like PC 148A. It's kind of vague. It's generalized. Like, what is obstruction? People say you have to physically obstruct. Do you? It doesn't say physically. What if you're just shouting at the guy and the guy keeps talking to you and the cop's going, look, I'm trying to talk to him. I'm trying to talk to this guy and you're yelling at him, getting his attention. That could be obstruction, verbal obstruction. Right? So yeah, 148A is very vague. What's resisting? What's obstructing? What's delaying? So PC 302, the same thing. What's rude behavior? Left for interpretation. And if you're doing it in front of or near a church, well, people are trying to go into worship and you're disturbing them going into this place of worship, you could be violating Penal Code 302. That's a misdemeanor in the state of California. And it's punishable up to a $1,000 fine and or up to 1 year incarceration. But we're going to cop-splain and go, oh, man, no, you're wrong. They have a First Amendment right to do that. But when cops do that for each other, we call them the thin blue line, the thin blue gang. Well, what are we? The green screen gang? Sorry this is so long, but I couldn't make it shorter. What do you all think? Let me know. And look, guys, you want to unsubscribe. I can't help that. But I'm open to conversation. I have so many people that have hated me on the other video in the comments. And you know what? I didn't take their comment down. I haven't blocked any of them. I haven't removed any of their comments except for a couple. And those couple were like one guy. He was comment. He was running me down, calling me a bootlicker. He said, you're a piece of S. And, he's posted probably about 37 comments running me down. And I just, you know what? Look, if you want to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. If you want to go on my YouTube channel and just start insulting me and trolling me all the way down in the comments, that accomplishes nothing. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you want to unsubscribe, nothing I can do about it, but I can say this. If you want to have a dialogue, even if you hate me right now and disagree with me, why unsubscribe? Have a dialogue with me.